Hello, everybody. Professor Barth here, history professor at the great Arizona State University. Now, the internet has amazing benefits, and that is an understatement. The internet, in fact, has unbelievable, revolutionary benefits. And I am strongly convicted that the internet will be a very positive force for humanity and for human progress. That said, there are also dangers. And the danger comes when the internet is no longer free. If the internet ever becomes unfree, it will morph into a tool utilized by the rich and the powerful to control populations. Now you may ask, how might the internet become unfree? And what does an unfree internet look like? There are, as I see it, two variables that place the free internet in danger. One is private and the other is public. We'll begin with private. First, a private consolidation of web traffic and of web sites. A web run and controlled by the very few, in which web traffic becomes ever more concentrated in a small number of powerful, hegemonic websites. And in the last 10 years especially, internet traffic has intensely consolidated. We no longer live in the wild, wild west era of the internet. Do you all remember that time? Remember the late 90s and early 2000s? It's morphing into a system where the internet is more like cable television, where you have major channels, right? Major websites. And as fewer and fewer websites dominate the internet, the ability of those private companies to control internet activity grows exponentially. The second variable that could lead to an unfree internet is public. The free internet faces tremendous danger when you have a snoopy government, a state apparatus that wishes to surveil the internet in order to spy on the people. These two variables, public and private, are dangerous on their own merits. But what happens when a consolidated internet cooperates with a snoopy government? The results are not pretty. And even more disturbing, this seems to be precisely the direction that we are headed in. In 2013, Edward Snowden exposed to the world the PRISM program. PRISM is a secret surveillance program in which the NSA, or National Security Agency, collects internet data in cooperation with 9 different internet companies. And since 2013, we have learned even more about this program. And the surveillance does not simply end with internet browsing. William Binney was a top official, right at the very top, of the NSA for over 30 years, until he resigned in October 2001. Since that time, William Binney has become one of the leading whistleblowers on government surveillance. According to Binney, the NSA records and then stores in massive data facilities the audio of at least 80% of phone calls in the United States. And you heard that right, the audio. This is a man who worked practically the head of the NSA for 30 years. Now, does that mean that a human being is listening? No, it does not. Unless you are a person of special interest, and those persons are very, very few in number, your phone conversation is not being listened to. It is being recorded and then stored. Furthermore, the technology is available for the NSA to transcribe phone conversations, making them searchable. And if the transcription picks up something of interest, that's when a live human being may perhaps listen to the audio. What happens if a malicious person takes charge of the government and all of a sudden he has all of these tools at his disposal? Imagine what a Hitler or a Stalin would do with some of this technology. And isn't that a question worth considering? I think it is. Because what we have in place right now, again, even if the NSA is completely benevolent, what we have in place right now as far as capability is, I almost said Soviet level. It's actually beyond Soviet level. Not in the sense that anybody faces consequences for their speech, as they did in the Soviet Union. We have freedom of speech in this country. The Soviets were opening mail and reading letters, all for your safety, of course. Yeah, right. But actually, the system we have right now, it's funny, actually, mail is one of the few places to go nowadays. It's your phone conversations, your text messages, the websites you visit. By the way, for all you porn addicts, the government knows all of that, all right? So, again, not a literal person, right? But it's there, and it's available for them to access. It's just the reality we live in, just letting you know. We've already seen the negative effects of this system. One of the biggest impacts of the surveillance program has been a severe chilling effect on internet behavior. According to a study published in the Berkeley Technology Law Journal in April 2016, internet users have increasingly self-censored their behavior in searches since the Snowden revelations in 2013. And this trend, no doubt, will continue unless we turn this ship around. William Binney, again, top NSA official for 30 years, had this to say in 2014. Whether or not it's correct, all right, I think it's significant that this former NSA official for 30 years would say something like this. He said in 2014, quote, "The ultimate goal of the NSA is total population control." All right, well, is that a world that we want to live in? No world I want to live in. Can't we at least, as a society, as a culture, can't we at least debate all of this before we plunge headfirst into it? I think this is worthy of debate. Let's debate it. But instead, people aren't talking about it. It's bizarre, man. Like, it's one of the reasons why I made this channel, to talk about things that I believe are not being talked about enough in the public discourse.